Welcome to Deeply Disturbing Things,
the podcast.
I'm Macy.
And I'm Naomi.
And we're two anxious counselors who like to talk about deeply disturbing things.
And we believe laughter is the best medicine.
Oh, and wine. But yes.
L'chaim.
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 Like that was pretty good.
You have a hairball and you're just like kind of clear.
I don't often have hairballs as a frame of reference, but I have seen my cat throw up a hairball.
Channel a cat.
Many a time. Yes.
I just cracked into my wine. For some reason, I always find that extremely amusing for some reason.
What? Why? What cracked into the words? Or
just like drinking wine out of a can in general. I think it's funny.
It's the new normal for me. I'm like, what do you mean you drink it out of a can? It's like, of course.
Don't you?
Yeah, we just had a technical almost issue. Naomi thought that she was sounding echoey, and then I put on her headset, and then we just figured out her headset sucks.
We just decided it was me.
Yeah, it's just you. It usually is.
And then I decided that you have a short head.
Yeah, I don't understand. You're saying that you have a long head.
Either that or your ears are higher.
I do have a very round face.
Because when I tried your headphones, they were above my ears. That's why I'm saying that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like them. Yeah, yours.
I don't feel like my ears are lower than normal.
What's normal, really? Though?
Average.
Typical.
I like
typical. Yes.
Typical ear level.
I told you about my mistake this week, and I just figured I'd share it even more publicly.
Yeah, do it.
So I had an employee reach out saying that they had a doctor's appointment for their mom. I, however, misread that because I just woke up, and this may be a good reason to not respond to messages right away. And my foggy brain, and I think this is COVID, is I just assume the worst now. And I responded and said, yes, that's fine. I'm sorry for your loss. I know. And it was I assumed their family member had died.
You went there. Straight there.
Well, and they clearly had said they were taking them to a doctor's appointment. So it was one, I obviously didn't read it or pay attention fully and just assumed their loved one had passed.
Well, I was super see where your head's at.
Everybody's dying. Yes, that's where my head's at. It's a very dark place, but
in your head,
in my head, the sunshine coming out though feels nice. I do got to say,
it was so sunny yesterday.
It feels nice to have spring coming.
I'm going to, if I can find it. I read something really good on the Instagrams today, which doesn't always happen. And now I just need to figure out what their Instagram name is so I can look it up. Oh my God. Never mind. This could
Excuse
be
me. Is this a whole thing that you didn't plan ahead of time?
Oh, it was because I was putting in the wrong letter because I'm not wearing my glasses. Okay, so this is not only an Instagram friend, but somebody I actually know from the neighborhood.
Real lifer.
Yes, and so he posted this morning, which I thought was pretty spot on to what I think. If we replaced cancel culture with critical thinking, we'd have empathetic conversations instead of emotional reactions. And by talking, we'd learn to separate honest mistakes from actual hate. I love that.
That is really good and relates a lot with topics we've had recently.
Yeah, people are just too quick to shut stuff down and react instead of let's try to understand.
Instead of understanding the text, I just jumped to someone died.
You did. That's a perfect example. Just take a pause, take a breath.
Perfect example of what went wrong.
Just take a breath.
Anyways.
I was going to write a short essay tonight, but I didn't get to it.
Why? About what?
Because I've been in turmoil about my hair salon situation. I've been in turmoil. Because here's the gist of it is I don't like to hurt people's feelings. At the heart of this. That's what the
systemic problem that we have as a nation, as a people, as a world.
That's at the heart of this whole dilemma.
Sometimes people's feelings need to be hurt. Sometimes we just need to hear it and move on.
Not in this case. And I feel like it can be avoided.
Oh, so you have a plan.
I'm formulating a plan.
This is dangerous. Go on.
But, I scheduled an appointment with a third person at the same salon.
Mm-hmm.
The very next day, while I was buying a kombucha in the afternoon, I'm standing in line next to my current salon person who was looking at me, and I'm sure looking at my hair situation. I mean, they have to. They're hair people. You'd think they're just constantly judging hair. At least in my mind, that's what they're doing. They're constantly judging other people's hair.
We constantly
cut,
judge
style,
people.
color.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're like secretly doing a quick diagnostic psychosocial assessment.
But we're not, so don't ask us. It's not for you, it's for us.
It's just for us, and it's just a quick snapshot. It's nothing like we can bill for.
No, yeah. Put your insurance card away.
So it's just, I mean, that is what I'm living with, like this turmoil of I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but I do want a decent haircut. So then here's how I'm working it out in my mind so that I come out feeling good about this.
So as much as it's about other people, it's actually really about avoiding bad feelings for yourself.
Yes, because
Here's
the thing. I never agreed to a monogamous relationship with any of my salon providers.
You didn't.
We never had
contract.
That talk.
Okay, pause. Can I just stop that right there for a moment? Okay, so since you're putting this in relationship terms, most people, when they start dating someone, like when they start spending exclusive time together, that there's an assumption made that you're not sleeping around. And then what happens is someone finds out the other person's sleeping around, and then the other person goes, but wait, we never verbally said that. And the other person's hurt anyways, because it doesn't matter.
But are these old traditions that that we need to let go of, Macy?
Because are you making this like a moral high ground now? Is this like
as long as I end up on top, that's what I'm aiming for. So I've always come to it like that. Like, okay, you're my hair person. I'm committed to you. When I leave you, I go to the front desk. I schedule another appointment with you. But I'm rethinking that. Who says that's how it is? Is that something I'm creating? Is that necessary?
You mean the concept of loyalty?
Yes. Does it even exist in the salon world? Am I just making that up?
I mean, I'm sure it does on some level.
I mean, what if
they have reoccurring appointments? We have reoccurring appointments for clients.
But what if I just was like, I'll just take whoever has the soonest appointment every time?
What if you had a counseling client that just mixed it up every time? Because someone's working on something. You're a piece of art that evolves over time.
Well, here's the thing. I've decided not to be
monogamous. To not let you on the top.
I have decided that in my hair salon relationships, I'm going to be poly, and that's the way it's going to be. I'm going to see all of them, and then I can hurt nobody and everybody at the same time equally. I'm going to go through the list and see every single person. Then it's equal, equal hurt or equal love. Do you see why I was going to write an essay to puzzle this out? I just kind of spewed it out.
I really see you wanting my validation right now. And I really just, even at like a core level, I just don't want to give it to you just because. So I'm thinking about this very carefully. You're a dick, but you're allowed to be a dick, and you can go see anybody else you want to. How's that?
I'm going to see them all. I'm going to see everyone on the list.
Okay. You're still
and I think that's going to make it.
You're like still a dick.
It's fine. Intentional, and also
it's fine. I mean, okay.
Maybe I was ambivalent.
Maybe she wasn't that into you anyways. You're still a dick. She wasn't that into you anyways. It's fine. You can go see someone else.
I mean, they might not even care. I might be creating this whole turmoil in my head.
Absolutely. They see a ton of people all the time. Do you think she'll notice? Absolutely.
100%. It's a tiny salon. What if I'm sitting right next to her in the next chair?
Yeah, you're going to at some point.
Well, the first person I see, every time I go in, he says, "Hi, Naomi." I feel like it's very pointed.
Well, and just wait. Just wait until you all of a sudden figure out that everyone there is worse than her. And then you go back to her.
Well, maybe I just need to try him out. Here's why I stopped seeing the first guy, which I realized was also my own fucked upness in my brain. He put way too much sea salt spray in when he was styling me. It was like a thick mass.
Like you had just been on the beach for 6 hours.
Like rubbing my head in a seaweed patch. Yeah, it wasn't cute. And then I gave him a couple tries because that's what you do. You date 3 times before you make a decision. And and then I quit him. And then I learned later when I went to do the first person, it was like when the pandemic was sort of lifting a little bit. And she said, "Oh, I'm so glad we're allowed to blow dry now. We weren't allowed to during COVID." So that's why he didn't blow dry me and just put a shit ton of sea spray in.
I see.
It was a way around not being able to blow dry. I'm like, oh, I judge so harshly.
So this goes back to your point earlier of not jumping to a quick decision. I see. So you're still wrong.
I gave him 3 tries and it was way too much sea salt spray.
How many tries have you given her?
A lot.
Okay.
Maybe 5.
Too many.
I think she's so nice.
That's great.
And that's
nice doesn't do your hair.
My hair just
I've taken issue with some things with your hair. So I think you should leave her immediately and, maybe just.
You don't like my plan to see everybody and just be Polly?
Well, you're not seeing everybody. You're not going there once a week and seeing
I'm
everybody.
Going to.
It's not, you don't get to get away with
Mark
like,
my
I'm
words.
Not really breaking up with you. I'll be back. No.
We're just going to have an open relationship.
Are you going to tell her that?
She'll see me in the chair next door.
All right. That's great.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to complicated problems with easy solutions.
It's so complicated.
All right. I get to go first. Any other check-in items?
No, I think that's enough. I'm already sweaty and emotional.
Okay. Don't look at my screen.
Okay, don't look at my screen.
Your screen's not even on.
I know, but I still want to angle it away from you. No. Don't look at my dark screen.
It's your dick. All right. That's the word of the day. I'm sorry. All right.
I'll take it.
So I picked a topic last minute per usual, but I actually wanted to know more about this because can you see my screen?
No.
Is it too bright? I can dim it.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to move away so that I could look at you and not feel tempted to look at your screen.
All right.
I want to make all the eye contact.
Okay.
To make you feel really
just
connected. And
that's my favorite. Okay. Anyways, this is a topic that I don't know that much about, but I've heard about it.
Okay.
And I know I learned about it at some point, but I know it was definitely like American education system level learned about it.
So you probably barely learned anything and it was completely whitewashed.
I'm going to talk about the Bay of Pigs invasion.
Oh, I know nothing about this. So this will be great.
Okay. Because I've heard people talk about it and like they have some attitude about it. And I'm like, okay.
Here's the thing with history. It was 5th period. Geography, history, all that stuff was 5th period after lunch. I never went.
I think mine was 5th period too. Is that just a thing?
Well, you'd go to lunch, you'd smoke a doob. You're not going to go back.
I never did any of that.
You're sitting at the wall.
I was a good student.
We had the wall. It was where the cool stoner kids sat at lunch. And smoked the doobs.
I sat in a hallway with the like gothic / nerdy kids playing magic cards on the floor. That's what I remember specifically.
Oh, you're an indoor kid.
I didn't play
I see the difference
cards,
between us.
But absolutely. There were the cool kids outside in the sunshine.
I was an outdoor kid.
We were in the hallway that the light didn't work.
We had to be without smoke alarms.
Yes.
In the out of doors.
In the out of doors. Yes. We had to be somewhere where the cards would lay down flat.
And not get dirty with the earth.
No, it doesn't look good on your black pants and your black shirt that goes with your black eyeliner and your black dyed hair and your shaggy bangs that cover your eyes. That was me. That was my entire life.
Not much has changed.
I had a lot, like I would do a lot of eyeliner, not like the heavy, but then I even thought it was heavier than it really was, which I interviewed at KFC for my first job ever. And they were telling me the dress code. And I'm like, oh gosh, you're going to tell me that like, can't have this much makeup on or whatever. And he's like, yes. And definitely not like gothic makeup, no heavy eyeliner. I'm sitting there like, oh, I thought I was doing that.
Not heavy enough.
Fail.
Goth fail.
Yeah. So and borderline punk phase of what could have been punk in 2004, for whatever that's worth. Okay, so Bay of Pigs invasion. What do you know? Do you know
nothing?
You know nothing. I'm going to educate the crud out of you.
Was there a bay? Were there pigs?
There were no pigs. No pigs. I'll knock that off right off.
Was there a bay?
I was hoping it was a bay.
Okay.
There was a bay. It was called the Bay of Pigs.
I'm interested to know.
All right. Okay. So first of all, well, since you don't know it, I kind of want to work backwards a little bit instead of telling you. Do you even like know the outcome of it?
I know nothing. I don't even know. Is this a US thing?
Yes.
I don't even know. I know nothing.
Dude, the CIA was involved.
Okay, so sort of modern.
No. Well, ish.
I mean, it wasn't the 1800s. I don't think we had CIA then.
Well, that came later, yes, but it was like 1959, 1960.
That's considered modernist. Just 1961
so you know, was the actual. Is it? No,
it
no.
is.
That's the oldies station. Thank you very much. Kidding me?
Come on.
No.
90 songs play on the oldies station now.
That's true. I like the 90 or the like oldies to today. Then it's like mixed in there, and I don't have to feel so bad about myself. Okay, so I'm gonna work backwards.
When your favorite songs play at the grocery store, you're done.
When what?
Your favorite songs.
Oh, yeah.
At the grocery store, you're done.
Who's listening to songs? I'm like panic shopping. I'm out, like putting my items back on the shelf before I leave. Like going like, this is okay. I'm allowed to leave without items. Oh, I got hassled in the tangent in the Burlington coat factory. So I was carrying items in a bin that I was purchasing, like a bin for my dog toys, and I'd put some items in it. And this lady who was obviously having a bad day came up to me and she's like, you have to get a cart. You can't carry things in there. And I just looked at her and I said, okay. And like waited for her to get me a cart then, because I'm not going to like juggle my stuff and go outside and get tackled by your anti-theft, whatever people, security people. And then she like grunted and ran off and got me a cart, brought me a cart. And then I set the basket in the cart. And then she sat and stared at me looking clearly upset. And she goes, you have to take everything out of the basket. And I sat there and looked at her and took every item out of the basket.
That is so stupid.
I know. And then she saw me, there was these things like penny discount things. And I was taking them like, oh, these will be like future gifts. And she watched me put them in my cart. And then when I went up to purchase them, she took them off of the counter from in front of the cashier and said, we can't sell these right now. And then took them away and walked away. And that was it.
Somebody be power tripping.
Anyway, it was very stressful. And then I wanted nothing more than to leave. I just get really snotty and mean when I feel publicly embarrassed, and then I want to leave as quickly as possible.
You could have just walked away.
I know.
Have fun putting all my shit away.
Yeah, just dropped it. I wish I was that cool. I don't think that I want to like follow the rules, but then I'm also like really irritated by the attitude unnecessarily. Okay, this has nothing to do with anything. Sorry.
This is going to be a tangential night. I can feel it.
It started that way and it's going to probably go that way.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, so
I have an easy topic.
Cuba.
I don't have to do any math or hard words.
That's great. That's why you get to go second. You'll be drunk by then anyway. So Cuba, that's kind of our Cuba.
Is this all the whole JFK missile crisis stuff?
That's I'm
because I want to know all about all that stuff.
There's bits.
Anyway. I don't know all the deets.
Okay. So,
give me the pig tea.
The what?
The pig tea.
Pig tea?
Just continue on.
What is pig tea?
Never mind.
Why would you say that?
NVM.
What? What does that mean?
Oh my God. OMG.
I can't. I know what.
PRP. LMFAO. LOL.
That's also 2004. Okay, you're stressing me out and I don't know why. Like sweating now.
No, I'm really sweaty. I'm actually going to take my sweater off.
Maybe it's just hot in here and it smells like flowers.
It's hot in here and it smells like Easter lilies.
You had a lot of them in a small space.
This is not okay. This is my room.
This is why I like our podcast. Whatever we need it to be. Okay. So Fidel Castro took over as a leader in Cuba, and just keep in mind that when he took over, we had actually had a lot of control in Cuba at the time, which I didn't know. So the previous Batista, he had been a corrupt and repressive dictator, but he was considered to be pro-American. He was an ally to the US companies. And at that time, American corporations and wealthy individuals owned almost half of Cuba's sugar plantations and a majority of cattle ranches, mines, and utilities. So the US owned a lot of land. So he wasn't a good leader, but we profited a lot off of Batista being there. So, and Batista just like let that happen. He didn't really care. He was also reliably anti-communist. So if we think about this era, that was a big deal. Castro, by contrast, he disapproved of the approach Americans took to business in Cuba. It was time, he believed, for Cubans to assume more control in their own nation. So he would say, Cuba sí, Yankees no. And that became a popular slogan of his. So almost as soon as he came to power, he started taking steps to reduce American influence on the island. He nationalized American-dominated industries such as sugar and mining, introduced land reform schemes, called on other Latin American governments to act for more autonomy. So really just kind of saying like, okay, this isn't for the US anymore. We're going to start, I'm assuming take more profit from it for Cuba, which in response, in 1960, President Eisenhower authorized the CIA to recruit 1,400 Cuban exiles living in Miami and train them to overthrow Castro.
Inside job.
Right? So to actually have the US so interested enough to hire secretive American operatives to try to have him assassinated, even at certain points, they very interested in how much he threw off their money. And I think control had a lot to do with that too, just feeling like they had control. So in 1960, Castro had diplomatic relations with the Soviet Union, and the US responded by prohibiting the importation of Cuban sugar. So now the US is saying, no, you can't send that product out. To prevent the Cuban economy from collapsing sugar exports to the US, the USSR agreed to buy the sugar. So like there's all these like going back and forth that had to happen because of the bad relations that we had with Russia, and Cuba not being able to sell their products. So 1961, the next year, the US government severed diplomatic relations with Cuba and stepped up preparations for an invasion. So things like started escalating pretty quickly on the US side. State Department and other advisors to the new American president, John F. Kennedy, maintained that Castro actually posed no real threat to America. But the new president believed that masterminding the Cuban leader's removal would show Russia, China, and skeptical Americans that he was serious about winning the Cold War. Aha. Okay, so let's talk about what the plan was.
What was the plan?
For the Bay of Pigs. Okay, so first of all, Kennedy inherited Eisenhower's CIA campaign. So Kennedy stepped into Eisenhower's plan.
Okay.
And he was supposed to train and equip a guerrilla army of Cuban exiles, but he himself had doubts that this was a good plan. The last thing he wanted, he said, was, quote, direct overt intervention by the American military in Cuba. The Soviets would likely see this as an act of war and might retaliate. However, CIA officers told him they could keep US involvement a secret if all went according to plan, and that the campaign would spark an anti-Castro uprising on the island.
Okay.
So they're getting Kennedy like, hey, don't back out of this plan, because they've spent over a year at this point planning all this.
Got it.
Okay. So most Cubans did not agree. So a lot of Cubans liked Castro for what he was doing for Cuba, but many didn't agree with his revolution style. Some left for exile to the US, Miami. And really, the Bay of Pigs invasion of 1961 was going to fail before it even started. And here's why. So Kennedy, we talked about, canceled at the last minute the US airstrikes that would have neutralized Castro's aviation. So there was this plan. We're going to come in, we're going to take out his air supply, basically, and any bombers he
didn't
has.
Really want the US really involved.
No. He again saw that, like, okay, if we do that, it's going to be very obvious that we did it. So he wanted way less. So
unless you Sharpie out the US flag on the planes or something.
They did that.
They did that?
Not with Sharpies, but they painted the planes.
Sneaky AF.
I know. So just a foreshadowing here.
I came up with that as a joke and they actually did that.
Right. So
wow.
This whole liberating Cuba from Castro idea, this whole war lasted less than 72 hours, to give a little foreshadowing of what actually happened.
Okay.
They landed in the morning of April 17th, 1961. By the afternoon of April 19th, they had already been defeated, the US.
That's fast.
Yeah. The survivors of the 2506 Brigade were released more than a year later. They actually were held as prisoners of war. The surviving members of the invading force are still waiting in exile for the fall of the Cuban socialist government. So there's still people. Cuba, in turn, commemorates every April 19th the defeat by a small nation by an army of mercenaries funded by the world's most powerful country. So it's still celebrated today.
As a Cuba versus US war.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
As a big victory for them. And it's been 60 years and they still are doing that. Okay, so Castro had there was a lot of anti-Castro youth in certain pockets. And so that's where they kind of gathered the exiles from to make their CIA, thank you, a little bundle of spies and people to kind of like stir up rhetoric to try to turn everything over. There's about 1,400 men that were recruited for that.
So did they really misjudge the effects of that plan?
Okay, so yes. And I think the change from Eisenhower administration had a big impact on that.
Do you know what money Eisenhower is on?
I don't. Which one's he?
A dime.
Is there a reason for that?
I don't know. Maybe that was the money they needed a face for that year.
Fair. So, okay, let's pick it up. Kennedy wanted to deny the participation, so they cut down the amount of aircraft that were going to be provided from 16 to 8.
Okay.
And he urged the CIA to modify the zone in time for the landing. He didn't want it public because originally it was supposed to actually be done like during the day and in this like well-known area. And so he's like, you need to find a more secretive place to do this and have less, visual impact. That was kind of his whole thing. If we're going to do it, it's going to be secret. As secret as possible. He gave them, the CIA, 3 days to re-elaborate the whole plan that they'd spent a year on.
Make it secret. Make it safe.
Make it secret. Make it safe. Okay. Kennedy just kidding. They chose what would later prove to be one of the worst possible sites, the Bay of Pigs. So that's a location in Cuba.
So the bay is actually called the Bay of Pigs.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a hard to reach inlet in the south of the island. In the zone, coastlines are hostile. It's swampy, and there's a lot of mangroves and razor sharp, what they call dog's teeth reefs, and which made it really hard to be stealthy and speedy when you don't know the area or you're not local.
Are there pigs there?
There are no pigs there.
Why is it called the Bay of Pigs? For the love of God, Macy.
Okay, and to be fair, I did not look up why the Bay of Pigs was called the Bay of Pigs.
That'll have to be a follow-up for a check-in.
Okay, fine. I'll do that. So near the Bay of Pigs, there was also an airport, which was actually used for refueling of the invaders' aircraft. So they were also, by changing location, they were now very close to where their enemy could fill up their fuel.
Gas her up.
Okay, so One of the lead CIA people completed his first anti-aircraft cannon exercise and was waiting anxiously to get that going. But at daybreak on the same day, the combat alarm rang. Invading aircraft had bombed 2 airports in Havana and another one in Santiago. We went out immediately, he said. They ordered us to take out the cannon and we were deployed to a beach. When we arrived, they told us that on daybreak, April 15th, mercenary aircraft had attacked our airfield and killed 7 of us. Oh, this is, sorry, this isn't the CIA. This is George Ortega Delgado. So he was on the other side.
On the other side, okay.
On the other side. Okay.
Can't we all get along?
Can't we all get along? Okay, so April 15th, the bombardment was the first one that Kennedy had authorized to destroy Castro's aircraft before the landing scheduled for April 17th. So that was supposed to kind of like reduce some of the impact of them being able to attack once they landed on the beach.
This is definitely an offensive.
Yes. Here's a photo real quick of the map. So this is where they came out and bombed on the beach line there.
I love those kind of maps that show like little plane paths and have little planes and little countries.
So they killed 7 people, but very few Cuban airplanes were actually hit. And from what I read, it sounded like Castro actually knew ahead of time that this was going to happen. He had found out somehow and actually moved his critical airplanes out. So it didn't really do much. Castro's Air Force did actually manage to shoot down one of the invading aircrafts as well. After the bombardment, a plane with Cuban insignia landed in Key West, Florida. Its pilot said he was a deserter from Castro's armed forces.
Is this the sneakiness?
Yes. In reality, he was part of the CIA plan to avoid involving the U.S. in the attack. So,
did anybody buy this?
It only lasted a few hours.
It's a little bit Trojan horse to me.
So the U.S. denied it all.
Oh, good future topic. Let me write it in my list.
That is a good one. All the world learned that the aircraft were American and that they wanted to pretend that the attack had been executed by Cuban deserters. With suspicions aroused over U.S. participation, Kennedy canceled the rest of the airstrikes. He's like, nope, done.
They're on to us. Run away.
Freaking Eisenhower starting stuff that he felt he had to finish so he had a huge blow against the objectives for the 2506 brigade that now had no sufficient air support. So this brigade's still supposed to go into the Bay of Pigs.
Oh,
so that's still happening, but not the big loud airdrop part.
The bombardment.
Okay. At this point, none of the invaders really knew that it was over at that point, that like everyone already knew what was happening. They still, and I say invaders, the US invading, still thought like game on. They're on the boat. They're approaching Larga Beach at the narrow end of the narrow way to get to the Bay of Pigs. So like they're coming in thinking like, we got this. Everything's still on track. But for months, Castro had been suspecting aggression. He knew against the war with the U.S. would be like David and Goliath, and he was pretty well prepared for it. So here, I'll show you the picture of the Bay of Pigs. So this is where they would come in at here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have
so it's like
on your map how close the like end of Florida is to Cuba?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so here's, and right here, the landing. So the US landed, let's see here. So the ratio is 1.2 troops to 20 point troops ratio wise for how many Castro troops were there. So we were terribly outnumbered.
Why?
Yeah, so
such cockiness.
I mean, Castro literally had the whole beach being patrolled before they even got there. So like they knew they were coming. They heard noises, they shone flashlights.
So we underestimated
and
the power of the resistance there. And
just like the planning, I think that they're thinking that it was going to be kept secret was the biggest thing. Like word spread pretty quickly In Cuba, it's a small place. It's an island.
People like the gossip.
So they heard noises on the beach, these patrols.
Hey,
they saw them and opened
the US
fire.
is going to invade us tomorrow? It's like water cooled.
Shit, we better get some guys down there. Yeah. Go patrol. So they managed to capture a few of the militias who had time to sound the alarm, but the surprise was completely gone. There was no surprise. Castro's troops were mobilizing to repel the invasion, and there were still many invaders waiting to land. So Cuba was like, they're ready to go. And we're still have boats unloading.
Ready to go.
Yes. Okay, so George Ortega, who I mentioned before, and his anti-aircraft battery arrived at the province of Matanzas, not how you say that, where the Bay of Pigs is located, on April 17th. This is where he found out he would fight against 1,200 men who had managed to disembark in Cuba, besides the paratrooper battalion that had been airdropped in a nearby area. Another brigade member stayed at the rear guard without moving, and he remembers hearing the militiamen, the sounds of tanks and mortar fires. So like the battle was happening.
It's happening.
Mm-hmm. It was in that speech that Castro declared for the first time the socialist nature. So he gave a speech that day about the socialist nature of the revolution, and he called on the people to repel the mercenaries. So now he's making like a public plea to go and fight the mercenaries.
He's rallying the troops. Mm-hmm. It's like Braveheart.
Yes. Okay. So they ended up with the cancellation of the airstrikes. They were very easy prey because Castro's air fleet was intact. So the boats carrying aircraft fuel that had been lost in the invading planes could not use the airport near there as they had originally planned. They now needed to fly hours round trip to the base in Nicaragua to refuel. So each time they returned to Cuba, they had less than an hour to carry out the bombing. So even the planes that they had weren't effective. And it was crews removed one of the machine guns from the airplanes to make it lighter, but that left them more vulnerable. So they're already having things are just going wrong. 24 hours after the April 17th landing, the invaders had already lost 2 of their 6 ships and half of their air fleet. The rest of the vessels retreated to the open sea, so out of that channel, to avoid more damage. And on April 19th, 4 American flight instructors based in Nicaragua flew to support the brigade members who had been left to fight for themselves, and Fidel's forces shot them down. Lopez said that they didn't have to die, but they felt they had to support us. It was a great gesture. April 19th. So Castro knows the enemy is facing difficulties at this point. He can clearly see that they're getting some leeway. He orders a full advance to bottle them up against the coastline. So now he's trying to pin them up to keep them from going out to the open sea. His troops start coming in waves, more and more armored carriers, mortars, airplanes. By the 3rd day, the invaders don't have ammunition, aircraft, or any escape routes. They ended up surrendering in the afternoon, April 19th. It's kind of complicated to understand how many deaths on each side there were. But the president of the Veterans Association calculates that there were 103 deaths and another 100 wounded. He thinks the casualties were low, taking into account that the fighting only went on for 3 days. So that's probably why. On Cuba's side, one of the commanders who led the resistance said that one of their books said 176 deaths. The invasion of the Bay of Pigs was really a tremendous, arrogant miscalculation by the CIA, according to one report. The intelligence agency's leaders were convinced that Castro's revolution was unpopular. It was so unpopular that all that was needed was a military invasion by opponents to spark an uprising. So their whole goal was to spark an uprising for people to come in who may be more pro-American.
Okay.
And less communist.
Because why wouldn't everybody love us?
Yes.
We're so cute.
I don't know how cute we were back then.
Well, we had a cute president, at least.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair. So we just kind of thought we could go in there, disrupt some things, and there'd be enough people who were anti-Castro who would then want to take over. But the truth was that Castro was fairly popular. He'd given people electricity and agriculture. The CIA really started from a false and poor premise to carry out the invasion in general.
That's some bad intel.
Mm-hmm. And it's not hard to imagine that tens of thousands of Cuban soldiers would quickly defeat 1,400 people.
Well, I don't think they really understand loyalty. Like, just because you hate your leader doesn't mean you want somebody else coming in, some outside entity coming in.
Yeah, I mean, I could think about past presidents that I wasn't so fond of, but someone else coming in and just taking over our government.
Like, hey,
no,
it's like you got your family loyalty.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, mom can say that, but not you, neighbor. Get out of here. So there's 1,100 men of the 2506 Brigade who were captured and sent to prisons in Havana. So there was about, I'm trying to think, because I know that there's still people there in exile still because of the Castro. Why are you snapping?
I don't know. I suck at snapping, and I just thought I'd practice right now during the podcast.
That's good. I'm proud of you.
And I still suck at
it. Okay. So Kennedy, Christmas 1962, Kennedy had sent a famous lawyer to then negotiate with Castro. His name was James Donovan, and he wanted to facilitate a prisoner exchange between the United States and the Soviet Union. Yeah, you can look at the photo. That's James Donovan. He's pointing a finger.
He's pointing a finger.
Very authoritarian.
He looks
white man.
Bald white man pointing a finger.
Mm-hmm. Exactly what you think that would look like. So he went to Havana for the first time, and on the next day he met with Cuban leaders for 4 hours. He had several talks with Castro, and they were trying to create some negotiations. And the U.S. wanted we wanted more than we really had the right to ask for. Like we lost at that point. So rather than a humanitarian exchange, something which Castro demanded from the beginning, so he wanted some sort of like aid for the prisoners, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
He wanted Cuba to be compensated for the expense of the invasion as well, which to me makes sense. But months before their release, the prisoners had to face a public trial for treason because they were exiles. So many believe they would end up facing a firing squad because of that, but they were sentenced to 30 years in prison. The court also established that a sum of $62 million would need to be paid to secure their release.
Who has that kind of dough rolling around?
Well, and just think about this is literally your fault. This is a flub up, if anything.
A flub up.
A flub up. You flubbed up and you're going to take $62 million away from the U.S. people now? Okay, but by the end of December 1962, they did agree on releasing the prisoners in exchange for $53 million worth of medicine and food to be distributed in Cuba to the Cuban.
I'm still thinking about how you spell that.
A flub up. I was thinking FLUB.
I was thinking two B's, maybe one word. Flub up.
Flub up.
Like flubber, but flub up.
A flub up. I could see that.
Makes me think of dolphins for some reason.
So although it was, in Cuba, these prisoners were, the prisoners who were released were obviously viewed very negatively. When they came back to Miami, there's a lot of people were very happy to have them back. So people say that they exchanged us for cans of baby food.
What?
One person said, but we did not feel humiliated because of our release. Cuba actually received a lot of clothing, food, and medications that the government distributed there. So that's good. But could you imagine feeling like you?
I'd want to be at least the good baby food, not the nasty stuff.
I'd
want to be peaches and blueberries and not nasty old peas or that gross turkey. Ugh.
So Cuba relations still Cuba had the best way to get back at the US for this, which was just block us out of everything and isolate. And actually how I ended up getting to this topic was looking at some other stuff. many countries over history have isolated from US imperialistic invasion of sorts of trying to control their countries. So yeah, this is just one example of that. So George Ortega commented, would I be able one day to sit with one of them and have a drink together? I think it would be very difficult because all my comrades who fell or ended up mutilated. To talk, yes, Cuba is always open to dialogue, but there must be equality of conditions. While there is still a US trade embargo, this cannot be. And that's the sanctions that the US put on them. The people of the brigade are mercenaries because they sold themselves to a country that hired them. They will always be enemies. They have never stopped being so. To this day, from Miami, they have influenced and tried to decide supporting the US blockade against our fatherland. It is true that former US President Barack Obama was in Cuba some time ago and he called for dialogue, but he also called to forget history. History is never forgotten. We always have it present.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
You can forgive, but you can't forget.
Mm-hmm. So, Obama going there, I think, was helpful, but there's still a lot of just skepticism in general because you can see literally how from president to president, how that perspective can quickly change, and not knowing the true intention of how that control in the country is going to be used. Because we were profiting them off of them, like completely we were. So their communistic ideologies aside, I think we were monetarily making a lot of money off of them, and that got taken away. And I don't think the US liked that. And it was about presentation during the Cold War, how we look to our own people.
Oh, yeah. You definitely wanted to be powerful to the world and your own people, for sure.
So this flub up, this is a giant historical flub up in the US. And I don't remember being taught that we just made this big giant error.
I can see it being swept under the rug.
We started a war that we got our butts kicked within 3 days. 3 days on literally false information, and our CIA couldn't keep good secrets.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems par for the course for that time.
Yeah, and then literally stirring up even more reason for Cuba to not interact with I don't, it was just all bad. It's
not fostering good relations.
No, it was a political nightmare. Yeah, so that's that. That's what I learned.
Interesting.
3 days of humiliation.
3 days.
And backpedaling by Kennedy on someone else's plan. I bet you Eisenhower would have probably gone more full because that was his plan and he was excited about it.
Full force.
Yeah, and the full force may have, it probably would have been a political, he obviously, since I don't hear about this, Kennedy kept it hush hush enough.
But what would we have done if we pull out their leader? Put a puppet leader in or be colonists?
Well, their whole thing is as long as they're anti-Castro, then we can work with that. Because they were hoping it was because the anti-Castro folks were supposedly anti-communist, supposedly.
It's so that, we know what's good for you kind of thing. And we're going to come in and help you figure out what's good for you because we know.
Well, and the whole Cold War thing in general baffles me and is another future topic. But this was just one I didn't know.
Thank you, because I didn't know anything about that. Anything with history, I always want to learn in an interesting format that's not boring.
Yeah.
So
that might have been a little boring, but
no, I was all in the whole time.
It's basically I had to teach a history class, and I'm not a history teacher, but I did my darndest.
No, I loved it.
And I learned it today too, so that makes it hard, but I enjoyed learning it.
And I love that you taught it to me.
I just imagined all the CIA folks shuffling. It's just honestly comical that Kennedy gave them 3 days to rewrite the whole plan that they had in a year. And they painted planes.
I don't really like that plan. Let's redo that.
Let's paint the planes. We'll shift it. How about this, Kennedy? We're going to have it in this quiet little cove in here where we can easily be trapped. Have no exit route.
Yeah, let's go into their comfort zone and see how that fares.
Yeah, and if they had so many people over there, like you would imagine somebody would say something like, "Hey, by the way, they all know you're here."
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're being air raided.
Hey,
like,
you hiding behind the tree. We see you.
Yeah. If we had 2 airstrikes hit major areas in the US, don't you think we'd be patrolling or like looking around?
Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
If we have any listeners in Cuba, please tell us like
Yeah,
your point of view on this and also anything we mispronounced.
Yes, because obviously this is also, even though it talks about both sides, it still is written in the US by US journalists.
Yeah, I'd love to hear like the insider
Mhm.
point of view from outside.
I'm just so
The
angry
inside
that
from outside.
I just feel like we don't get taught things well, like
no,
history, like at all. History, sex education. What else do we get taught well?
Nothing.
History,
because
sex ed.
we're still under the colonial influences of the fucking patriarchy. That's why. Well, do I have a topic for you? Do I have a treat for you, Macy?
Yeah, great. Turn your laptop away from me.
I am turning it
Don't
away.
worry, the mic actually was blocking it, but yeah.
Okay. Boy, oh boy, do I have a treat for you. I have to say that again because I'm killing time while I unlock my laptop.
Oh boy. Not stalling for time at all.
I was out the other day.
For you.
And somebody approached me, as often happens.
Why does that happen?
Because Spokane's small.
It's not that small.
It's
I've
small.
lived here a long time too, and nobody comes up to me.
Someone came up and said, "You look just like my aunt. Let me show you a picture of her."
Oh no.
And pulls up on their phone picture of their aunt.
Is this gonna get really racist? Really
shows it to me.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I'm pretty sure they didn't have any Asian in there, but
really,
other than that, I didn't see any resemblance. They had bangs. I saw bangs. Like, okay, we both have bangs. Yes,
we're like twins then.
Yeah, it was just like, you look just like your aunt, and I'm trying to be nice. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know if I really see that, but
great.
Cool. Like, I'm
glad you felt the need to invade my personal
space. That's awesome.
Today.
Yeah. And so that just got me thinking, and I remembered that for about 30 years, my sister and I thought these photos of these 2 girls in our family photo album were us.
Oh no.
And,
what?
And when we were like this was like 10 years ago, we finally realized that it wasn't us.
Who was it?
It was some photos that my grandmother had took at like some Japanese festival in San Francisco. Of some other girls. And like, we should have figured that out because we'd never owned kimonos.
Oh my gosh, wait.
We always thought it was us because it was like 2 girls that sort of looked like us.
And it would be super cute if you had been dressed in kimonos.
We thought it was us, like always. Like, why is it in our family album then if it's not us? We just assumed it was us. I mean, it.
Yeah, no, I would assume that.
Kind of, I mean, it looked like us, kind of. Enough that we believed it was us.
Okay, all right.
So think about this, Macy. Mm-hmm. There's somebody else out there with your face.
I hate that.
I'm going to talk to you about doppelgangers tonight.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, I'm excited.
Is it?
I don't know.
There's somebody out there with your face.
I don't like it. Stop it.
Okay, exactly.
Are you going to doppelganger me?
What does that look like? I don't know how one doppelgangs somebody. I mean, it sounds like it has to be consensual.
Are you gonna fubble up me?
Flub
up me. There you go. Not fubble up.
There's a photographer based in Montreal named Francois Brunel who has been intrigued by the question of having somebody out there that looks like you. And he began his I'm Not a Lookalike series back in 1999 and has been tracing down, and photographing 2 unrelated people who resemble each other so much that they could be twins. And he's uncovered hundreds of doppelgangers around the world. And he takes minimalist black and white photos, so you really can focus in on features, so you're not distracted by like, oh,
hair color.
We have the same hair color, we have the same makeup.
That's cool.
Yeah, we have the same shirt on. So really focusing on features. And so to date, he's photographed about 250 pairs in 32 cities around the world. And I just picked a couple to show you.
Cool. Yes.
So that's one pair.
Oh, okay.
They look a lot alike, right?
Yeah.
And this is just a couple. They're like better.
They have
examples.
like very similar eyebrows.
Here's another pair.
Oh, wow. Yep.
And this pair I found very striking. Look at this.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they do look like twins.
Like they have the same face.
Same teeth, same lips.
Like nobody else has that face. Like it's such a unique face, and they both have
that nose ridge bone, the
whole thing. Yeah, the
eyes. Yeah,
that lip that curls up on one side. It's so
interesting,
fascinating.
I'm really stressed out. Did you find my doppelganger?
No, but
why not?
Just hold tight.
Okay. Oh wait.
So this photographer, Francois Brunel, says, of course, the lookalikes are not the same. They look alike, not much more. But then that's what fascinates me, that someone out in this world is looking at himself in the mirror and seeing more or less the same thing that I am seeing in my mirror. Which brings us down to the question, who am I exactly?
I don't know.
Am I what I see in my reflection, or something else that cannot be defined and is invisible to the eyes, even my own?
I'm the many voices in my head.
It's really interesting though.
Sometimes I forget, like I'll forget that I have a lot of tattoos, and then sometimes like I'll be changing. I'm like, oh yeah, wow.
Like, who is that?
Yeah, like, oh, I haven't looked at my back in a while. Yeah, like
I really want to feel like I'm unique. Like that's something I like about myself. Finally, like I never, like growing up, I wanted nothing more than to not be unique.
To fit in.
Like I used to cry about my name. I hated it because it was so different. Like nobody was named Naomi. I wanted to be Tina or Michelle. Like, why can't I be Tina or Michelle?
Oh,
why?
Gosh. You're so gross right now.
But that was Tina, what I felt.
Really, that's a llama in Napoleon Dynamite.
I know that. I'm sharing my personal struggle. I mean, now I love being unique, but then now it's like, okay, maybe I'm not unique when I could have up to 7 doppelgangers out there.
Okay.
Which is what research shows.
Wow. I would just like to say I wanted to be unique, and then the KFC guy told me my eyeliner did not make me unique. So opposite problem.
I've gone through all this work of like self-acceptance and self-love. I'm finally there. I'm like, I am unique. I love that about me. I'm a unicorn. It's like, no, I'm one of a herd of unicorns. Fuck that.
I'm not a unicorn. Okay. I don't have anything else to say. I just know I'm not a unicorn.
2 people who share uncanny similarities but are not related are doppelgangers.
Where did that word come from? Do you know?
I didn't look that up. I should have.
Maybe you should look that up for a check-in.
I will.
Good. I hope you do. I'll have my Cuba Bay of Pigs thing for you too.
Let's report back.
Giving me freaking homework. Who does that?
Let's check in.
Fine.
Some doppelgangers have shared similarities beyond looks, such as interests or personality, body language. Some have similar jobs. There is a website dedicated to helping you find your lookalike.
No way. Oh, I hate it.
It's called twinstrangers.net.
That sounds like a porno site.
It does.
They should come up with a better name.
Using AI facial recognition software, the site will compare you to millions of others from around the world. The site has been collecting faces since 2015, which immediately made me think of Game of Thrones. in the Hall of Faces.
Yes. That they never came back to. Yeah.
So, because I know that you would want me to, I signed up on the website.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Wait, okay.
Would you like to see my twins?
I'm readjusting for better viewing pleasure. Did you bring popcorn?
So
I'm crying already.
keep in mind, like, it all depends on the photo you submit.
Did you have to pay money for this?
No, it's free.
Oh.
It's totally free for like up to, I think, 5 different photo submissions.
Okay.
Because it all depends
So you
on.
submitted photos of yourself?
I submitted one. I did one.
Okay.
And there's still
I heard still in the
battle
background.
cry. I mean, it really, I think a lot of it is like the angle. So they do suggest you give different angles of your face.
Makes sense. Okay.
All right.
Bring it on. Tell me.
My twins.
Twins? Are there multiple?
They give you a whole freaking thing.
Okay, all right. Show me.
Based on like how close they are to.
You've saved no matches.
Wait, where did they go?
Oh my gosh. Oh no, their twins are gone.
Do you have to resubmit your photo every day? I thought it would save them. Damn it. All right, I'll do it again right now.
Is it instantaneous?
Yeah, it's instantaneous.
Oh my gosh, you need to do it for me too.
I did this a photo from our podcast.
Okay.
So you get 5 free uploads. Apparently they don't save them for you, which is stupid. Twinstrangers.net.
Sound like a porno site.
Hate you.
Okay,
here we go. Here's my twins.
78% match.
What? I still have no twins?
What?
There was a whole list before.
Wait, maybe you have to. Oh, there you go. 2 results.
This is, I have 500 something results.
Oh, 549.
What is happening?
Click on it.
This?
Yeah, look, it has an arrow next to it.
Oh, here they are. Oh my God.
Technology.
I just don't know what I'm doing.
No.
And look, you can send a private message.
Oh, that's.
Do you think that person looks like me?
I
think they actually look like they have a little Asian or something.
Yeah, I do see the
or maybe like Icelandish.
Yeah. That's where my skinny eyes come from.
What about that person?
Okay, yeah. I mean,
so they start with the highest match and then they go down.
Okay.
But keep in mind also that this is only people that have submitted their faces to this website.
Okay, so it's like the DNA things. Like it's only those who are in the bucket.
I see nothing there.
I kind of see. I see the long jaw.
Oh, maybe it's a long face.
Your long head. Your long head.
It's a long head.
She has a long head.
We both have a long head. She's from Canada. Okay.
No,
I don't know that country. No, that person looks like a Karen. Oh my God, that person's 85 years old.
No.
Fuck you, twinstrangers.net.
But what does she have? Long head.
Long head.
She has long head.
Oh my God, I have a long head. Here's a US person.
She has a very long head.
Does she?
Eyebrows. It's the eyebrows. Yep. Long head.
What? Oh my God, it's confirmed I have a long head.
Long head.
Okay, I like this person's hat a lot. Yeah, I would actually probably PM them for maybe a date.
Yeah, like nice hat.
No, I like your style. I like your
eyebrows.
Yeah, you look like you have a sassy look.
It kind of looks like they're in a police station, to be honest.
They may be a Mountie.
And then you scroll to the next one who's actually against a brick wall.
No, this is the person that's the police officer. This is person being arrested.
Yes, exactly.
What? This one is totally upside down.
Nothing with that one.
Nothing. This looks like my friend Perla.
Other than long face. Long face is the theme.
Why do people submit photos upside down? Okay.
Eyebrows.
So now we're getting further.
These are nose.
Further away from the
nose was similar on that one.
You think that? I don't have that nose.
A little.
What are you talking about?
A little bit of that nose.
What?
Yeah.
A narrow bridge and a wide bottom? That is not me.
It's not as wide as hers. That one, how do you even know? She literally took it behind a table.
And I hate that all her nail polish is chipped off.
Yeah.
So right away, it's like, no, you are not my twin stranger.
Who are these people that you're...
No, now it's just random people.
The quality is going way down.
Well, now we're in the low 60s for
66%, the quality has been...
No, it's way down.
Nothing. I see nothing. Okay. I need to do it for me.
You need to do it.
Okay, how do I do it?
You have to submit a photo.
Can you create it for me? You have photos of me.
I know, but it would take time. You have to crop it and resize it and stuff.
Oh, well, let's not do it now. I'll do it later.
Yeah, do it later.
I'll share it with you.
Twinstrangers.net.
I feel like that's gonna flag
you
me
should
on
do
something.
the other half of that picture because it's a picture of us together. I cropped you out. Sorry.
You did specifically pick one that had a filter on it, which probably wasn't a good idea.
I'm sorry I cropped you out.
It's okay. It happens. I've been cropped out of a few photos in my time.
So I really debated, did I want to upload my photo? Because now my photo's in this system.
Oh, so now like they can see you in there?
Yes, they're seeing my face come up and they're like, oh no, not a match. Ew, a Karen. That. Long face.
Ew, look at that purple bangs.
Look at the long head.
Look at long head. I don't have a long head.
Totally.
I bet her earphones cover her ears.
Totally. But I did it for the pod. I did it for you, to tell you the truth.
I have no shame. I'll do it.
Okay, good. You do it.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
Cool. That's exciting. Did that stress you out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of classic doppelganger movies.
Yeah, there are actually.
Vertigo, Mulholland Drive, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and The Thing. And for research, I watched a new one, which is called Cam. Have you seen that?
No.
Have you seen Orange is the New Black?
Yes.
You know the girl that plays the little methy one?
Yes.
So she's like a cute Cam girl in Cam.
Okay.
Who gets doppelganged.
Oh, that's creepy. My face.
Maybe that's not a term I should use.
Oh, I see. I thought you were making fun of my facial expression.
No, I wasn't. I was making fun
like,
of my brain.
Did I underestimate my face in that moment?
No, sorry.
You like really freaked out.
No, I'm like, that's probably not something I should say.
She's buzzed and she apologizes for saying that.
You want to hear a little science?
That was the angle of the show, to be fair.
Science.
Science.
The science behind doppelgangers. It's thought that everyone on Earth has a lookalike. Everyone, even you.
Even me.
Scientists say there are probably 7 pretty good replicas of us out there.
You know, I'll take pretty good any day.
And at least one dead ringer. I have seen doppelgangers in my sister quite often.
Have you?
I've never told her that, but there's been a lot of times at the mall where I'm like, is that my sister? And then it's not.
People have said I look like Punky Brewster. Who's that?
Soleil Moonfry?
With bangs, like a child Punky Brewster, this one.
Okay. I don't see it.
Me neither. Bangs. That's what people like.
No, they just get fixated on the bangs.
Yeah, maybe that's why, because I also get Bjork. And Bjork has bangs
Bjork
too.
is Icelandish.
In Icelandish.
She's an Icelandish.
Is it because she has
elf.
squinty eyes like me?
I guess.
It's hard to tell. I mean, like, this is more of like, see, I don't have that nose. I don't know.
Or the thick eyebrows.
Yeah, people are
Dumb.
really bad at guessing doppelgangers.
So in the research, when they brought these twin strangers together, and that website, they actually have a YouTube channel where they film bringing people together from around the world, and they spend a few days together.
Could you imagine meeting one of those amazing people on that list? Maybe you will now. They know you and they know what country you live in. Does it say, do you have to give more details than that?
You can DM them.
Oh gosh.
I know.
Please let me know if you get DMs.
If I get DMs.
I'm so excited. You should definitely meet up with. And if it becomes a porno, don't invite me.
If it becomes a real doppelgang,
yeah.
Don't worry, I will not invite you.
Doppelgang.
Did
Did you just create something?
I created something.
Figures.
So research says that when they come together, for the most part, they love each other and they trust each other because they look like each other.
I have already I've thought about this before, and I would end them. I would smother them with the pillow. There can only be one.
There can only be one.
All 7 would go down in their slumber. I trust no one, especially if they have my face.
Trust no one. Question everything. Tim Spector, a genetic professor at King's College in London in the Department of Twin Research.
Spector.
He has studied
When
doppelgangers.
you put your glasses on, you going in and out is really distracting.
You don't like my squint?
No, you just like weave into the camera and then you weave out of the camera and then you weave in. And I'm just watching you very closely now because I turned my chair to face you for that whole thing. And now
it's like a podcast dolphin dive in there.
It's not.
This is why we don't film on real podcast night. There's way too much going on in here.
It's just too much, and we need to let our guard down. You make us anxious, but that's, we love you.
We do it for you.
We do it for you
and us, but
mostly
us.
Mostly us, but we love you too.
But we love you and appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you. I actually looked up the word appreciates, and I think that we use that too lightly now.
Do we? How about gratitude? I know we use that too lately.
Yeah. Appreciate really is encompassing, is kind of like gratitude for the whole entity, the whole person. And I do
appreciate anybody that listens to us.
I appreciate the fact that they take the time.
I appreciate you and I question you.
I know, but that's the fun part, right? Like we already know like the type of person it takes to listen to us because it's us.
Want you to be my actual friend in real life.
And will you be? And she says that, but that may not be true.
No, I'm really serious about that. At least I want to
you don't got enough
look
time
into it.
We appreciate.
I just want to consider it.
You want to consider it. Well, it's because like it takes a certain person to listen to us.
I know, and I'm like, you could be like a friend.
Yeah. If you've gotten this far, 135 episodes in, we could be friends.
What are we doing with our life?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, we're still here. So
Tim Spector. Back to Tim.
Mr. Tim Spector. I really like his last name.
He uses advanced facial mapping systems that measure every contour of the face. And he goes deep. It's not just surface. It's like
deep. It's not just my pudgy.
No, he goes into bone structure. Some doppelgangers are as similar as identical twins.
Wow.
In their appearance.
Some of those pictures of like true doppelgangers like were close.
Yeah, and some are actually as close as identical twins. It's fascinating. DNA testing proves that some of these folks just look the same by chance. They are defined as strangers, so not related up to 20,000 years ago.
What's the name of that site?
Twinstrangers.net. Are you going to submit a photo? You have to do the other half of the same photo I submitted.
I don't have to do that.
Yeah, because it'll be cute.
Is it?
Yeah.
This pulls up like a porno site. It looks, it's like blonde hair, blue eyes.
It's a lot of canoodling.
Like, why are they giving sexy eyes to the camera?
I watched both of their reunions.
Did you? Was it
cute? They got together in LA. Their ancestry has almost zero similarity for some. So some are not related at all. But for others, DNA testing shows there is a surprise shared ancestor and they're actually related.
Oh, interesting.
How can two people who are so genetically different be so physically similar?
Tell me how.
Because our gene pool is not that varied. What are the benefits and risk of having a doppelganger, Macy?
Will that one murder you in the night?
Would that be a benefit or a risk?
A risk.
That'd be a risk for your doppelganger.
Yeah, another risk could be that one would commit a crime and it looks like you.
Yes, exactly.
Another thing,
look just like you.
Another thing would be if one is just kind of a crappy person in general.
And people think it's you.
Yeah, and people think it's you.
Yeah.
Just knowing that they're looking into your soul in the mirror.
Out there somewhere
is a negative for sure.
Yeah.
Knowing that they're gonna have children that look sort of like you, just
That's
populating
weird.
Spawn into the world.
Ooh, so you could have doppelganger children with your children.
I hate that.
I hate that too.
I don't like it at all.
That's weird.
This is the only picture I have on my computer, so I have to use it.
Okay, let's see what comes up.
All right.
A benefit that some twin strangers have reported is that they find it very comforting to know that someone else out there looks like them.
I don't find it. I
mean, this was for some who reported always feeling like they looked.
Do I have to put my real name?
Weird.
Is this like for real? Like
I did realsies.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like it's my real face, so I might as well put my real name.
I'm not. Nope.
Well, you're gonna have to explain that when they PM you.
I don't care. I'm not gonna answer them back.
So for some who've always felt like bad about their appearance, like they looked weird or funny, they found it actually helped their self-esteem, and it was confidence boosting to know that they had somebody else out there that looked like them. Some of these twin strangers that have met have formed bonds for life.
Life bonds. I don't need that many more people. I'm good.
If somebody actually really looked like me, I would consider meeting them. Consider.
Can I be nearby in case you need saving?
Yes.
Okay.
Because if I have to go to Icelandia, I definitely need some saving.
Well, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that wants to kill their doppelganger. So as I look at my I don't really want to. Just throwing that out there.
Oh my God, hurry up and look up yours.
I'm trying.
I know I told you those.
I guarantee you they're gonna ask for me to verify my email.
Okay.
Well, keep going.
That's all my topic.
Oh, that's it?
I'm sorry, that's it.
Okay. Well, I did a thing and then it literally just disappeared.
I'm sorry.
Where did it go though?
I don't know. I told you.
It just brought me back to the main page.
I think this one looks the most like me of all of mine, but we definitely have a different nose on top.
Definitely different nose. Your lips are way different. What are you talking about? I don't think she looks like you at all.
We have the same bangs.
Log it.
Well, me and my sisters say we look alike all the time, like
have
twins. And we
527 results with a 78%.
All right, let's see.
I'm so anxious.
You have to go to your twins right there.
No, you press the arrow button.
Okay.
We figured this out. Oh, gosh.
Oh my God. She actually looks like you, kind of.
I hate it. I hate it.
You have to PM her.
No, I don't.
You actually look kind of like her.
I lied about my name.
Well, you can release that.
I said I'm Mercy Alid.
You can disclose that later.
She does have my similar face and nose and eyes
and necklace
and eyebrow, and I would
you would probably wear that necklace. Oh my God, that's your new BFF.
I hate this. Yeah.
What? Is that you?
No.
Are you sure?
Stop it.
Okay, that I don't see anything there. That one actually looks like you when you were a little kid. I don't like that long braid though. Is that Hermione? Are you upset right now?
I don't know.
Isn't it crazy? Oh my God. Is that
what I'm going to look like when I'm older?
Yes, that is you in 20 years.
I'm sweating.
That is you in fucking 20 years. I mean, not bad. Okay, no, wrong eyes. Okay, no. Okay, you're getting far away.
It's only 73% and it seems way off.
Why did you get way more matches than me?
72%.
Oh my God, is that you?
No.
No, that one is you.
No,
go back to the poll one. That one is fucking you. Are you kidding me?
Nose is different. Look how
I know, but think about if you put. Okay, I dare you to post one of these on your Facebook page and see if anybody notices that it isn't you.
No. Oh, we should both do
Let's
that.
both do that.
Let's
both do that as a dare. Okay, that's you when you're 12. That could be you now. That one could.
Oh my gosh, I hate this so much. She just looks nothing like me.
That one looks nothing like you. But some of that one, I could see you posting that.
I hate that.
And people not knowing the fucking difference. I don't think people look at us as close as we look at ourselves. You know what I mean, though?
Good test. Let's see here.
Like, I think we know ourselves way more than, like, we obsess probably too much in the mirror more than other people look at us. No.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll back up to my topsies. So
find the top one.
Back. Okay, we both have to post our number one. How about that? This one. No, people would know.
No, that does not look like you.
Because my hair is too.
That one does not look like you.
There's this one. What do you think? Okay. We will finish.
We're gonna debate
off the clock. We're not gonna waste your time.
We're gonna experiment, and we're gonna each post one on our Facebook and act like it's us and see if people notice.
Until next time, avoid the biggest flub up.
And there can only be one.